Hey, what's up guys, TechTine here, and before I begin, I want to thank you all so much for watching my content. I really appreciate the support lately. You guys have been absolutely incredible, so thumbs up for that. And today we're going to be talking about the things that I like about the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G, and there's actually quite a few of them. I will be making the Devil's Advocate video where I talk about the things that I really don't like about this phone, which will be in a separate video, so stay on the lookout for that. So using this phone for over a month, one of the things that I really enjoyed about it is actually the design itself. And I know design is such a subjective topic, but there are actually things about this phone that give it a much better design in my opinion than last year's generation. Beginning with these subtle curvatures on the back, I know last year's generation had them, but last year was more aggressive on that curve. This time around, it's much more subtle and it actually helps out with the grip and makes this phone less slippery if you don't have a case on it. Also, the camera lens on the top of the phone does not protrude as much as phones nowadays, so that's definitely a thumbs up. When I put it on a flat surface, it didn't rock back and forth as aggressive as other devices. And overall, I think the design is clean. I know it's simple, and they did get rid of that third useless camera, which is a thumbs up, but we'll talk about that later. And also, the other thing that I like about this phone is actually this display. Now, it's very similar to last year's generation, however, this time around, they do provide you with a 120Hz refresh rate. So it's still a nice 1080p quality IPS LCD panel, so definitely sharp, vivid, way better than that Moto G5G's display, which is an embarrassing 720p panel. So definitely would recommend this phone over that phone any day of the week. And I really enjoyed using this display a lot, and especially if you watch a lot of videos, browse through your social media, so content consumption on this phone is no problem at all. There is one thing that I don't like about the display, but I'll save that for the other video. But here, the other thing that I like about this phone is actually the speaker quality. So take a listen at the speaker and I'll get back to you on that for some words.
Lately, especially since we live in a crazy world where camera protrusion is at an all-time high. So if we look at our buttons, so on the right hand side you have your power button slash fingerprint as well as your volume up and down. Now I do have to say this, the power slash fingerprint sensor is really smaller than the average power slash fingerprint sensor that I've seen in phones, and the volume up and down are.
Okay, so the speaker is nice and loud, very crisp as far as sound quality goes, so that definitely also gets a fat thumbs up in my opinion. So the speaker does what every speaker on a phone should do, right? So it does have a bottom facing speaker as well as the ear speaker that acts as a secondary subwoofer. So next up, one of the things that I like about this phone is actually the performance. So not only is it a much more improved performance, but there are a couple of things that you can do, especially while you're playing a game. So you have a couple of settings here while you're playing the game, whether you want it at a high performance, standard, or kind of low performance, which will limit the refresh rate. But keep it at a high performance just because one, it can handle it. Two, the battery life is already good enough for that type of stuff. And the battery life on this phone is excellent, especially with the standby that this phone has. Didn't really have a problem with it. You can also block notifications, block calls, screencast if you want to stream this game, or you have more options. So definitely some of the things that make this phone a much better overall experience in my opinion. So of course the part that a lot of people are waiting for, which is the camera quality. So you do get a dual camera sensor with a nice main camera of a 50 megapixel resolution at f1.8 aperture, and the camera quality on here is actually pretty good. I would say it's a little bit better than last year's generation, but I'll save that for the full review. But one of the things that I really like about this camera experience is just the overall fluidity. So you can double twist to unlock the camera app, which is goated, and taking pictures on this phone is extremely quick, so just snap and shoot like it should be. And you do get a wide angle lens as well as a macro sensor, but we'll talk about that later on. You do get the ability to shoot in 4K video, there's good stabilization, and overall the camera experience whenever you're taking pictures or shooting a video, it's nice and fluid, way better than a lot of phones that are at a higher price point. But the camera review will be coming also soon, so stay tuned for that. Now we cannot really wrap this video up without talking about the Stylus, and this is actually something that I like about it. I didn't really think that I would be using the Stylus as much anymore, and that may be true, but whenever you need it, it's there and it's an extra feature and it works pretty well. So the Stylus is as quality as you can get on a phone at this price point, right? You can sign documents, do whatever you want, scroll through your apps. When you're reading an article, you can highlight whatever you want to highlight. So things of that nature, it's pretty good at, and definitely gets a thumbs up from me in that regard. Now, I want to hear your guys' opinion. If you have this phone, what do you think of it so far? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Leave it in the comments below. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, leave a thumbs up, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.